Hi, welcome back to our video fly tying series. I'm Steve, the Worley Bugger, and today I'm going to show you how to tie the Junkyard Dog Rockworm Caddis. So here, holding an old version of Caddisflies by Gary LaFontaine. If you haven't got this book, I would suggest that you search the internet because it's no longer in print. But Gary LaFontaine is the master of Caddisflies. Most fly patterns nowadays that you find are created are from versions from here. He did detailed work on Caddisflies throughout Montana, Idaho, and Washington, and actually in the 80s dove underneath with scuba tanks in many of the rivers to watch caddisfly emergences over 80 times, I believe. So very, very great book, very easy to read and understand with tons of great patterns. And the concept of this fly came about several years ago, the Junkyard Caddis. We have lots and lots of free living caddis in the Yakima River. Especially in the farmlands where there's lots of riffles. They live in those kind of segments, and we have them in two colors. We have them in tan, and we have them in green. So if you spend a lot of time in those sections of the river, upper river around Clay Ellum, and through the farmland section like we do, then most definitely you should have Rockworm Caddis fly patterns in your arsenal in both of these colors, probably in sizes 12 through 16. It would cover your bases. This is a relatively very, very easy fly to tie, a lot like Gary LaFontaine's patterns. Not super complicated, but super effective, and catch lots and lots of fish. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to tie the Junkyard Dog Caddis. Okay, so we'll get started here. We're going to tie the green version, and you can tie this a couple of different ways. Use a scud emerger hook, which is great for imitating the rockworm caddis. So when they break loose from the substrate and start free drifting, they're usually doing that curled up. So the scud hook does a great job of imitating that form. And then you can also tie it on a curved jig hook. This is the tan version. And the lightning strike JF4 is a great hook for that to imitate. So we'll load our hook in the vise here. And you're going to need a couple of different bobbins. It just makes it the work a little bit easier, and you'll see as I tie this, you'll understand. But you're going to want to load one with some green uni stretch, and we'll start right behind the bead. This is a really great, really underutilized material for building bodies. And take it and go all the way down around the bend. Come back and stop about 3/4 of the way. Behind the bead. The uni stretch is great for building bodies, and it's also great for hot spots. If you do a lot of Euro nymphing and you build a lot of Euro nymphs, they got a lot of great colors for making tags. And it's a flat, it's like UTC, it's a flat, stretchy, so you can see how it stretches material, so it's really nice to work with. So next you're going to take a piece of black wire. This is medium. Builds a nice segmented look on the caddis. And then we'll tie that in, pull tight, bind it down. I'm going to make a few wraps behind the thread. And then back forward again. They're Rockworm caddis are pretty beefy bugs, so it doesn't have to be real thin. I mean, you want to keep your proportions accurate. So build up a nice thread body. On there and having it nice and flat. And then we'll just take and tie it off with a half hitch behind the bead. And we're done with that material. That's when I attach just some black UTC 70. And you can use another, you can take it out and put, you can take your uni stretch out of your bobbin and replace it. It's just a little bit easier to have another bobbin handy. So then we're going to create our segments. And just keep them spaced as you work up the fly. And then just tie that off. This is really thick wire, so don't use your good scissors. Use a pair of old scissors to chop that so you don't ruin them. And then just make sure that that tag end is down in there. So now we're going to take and we're going to add some UV glue. And always keep in mind, you know, UV glue and sometimes with other material too, even certain dubbings, you know, when they get wet or when you use the glue, it's going to change the color of it. And you can kind of see how it's darkened that up. It's not quite so bright anymore. It's a perfect color for rockworms. Then we'll just take and burn that glue, dry it real good. Then your next item is you're just going to use a small black saddle hackle feather. Strip that quill so you can tie it in right behind the bead. This is going to emulate the legs of the rockworm caddis. Just make sure you got that bound in good. You can tie off that stem there. Attach your hackle plier. And with each wrap, we're just gonna fold those feather tips back, and you want to make, you can kind of judge it by, you know, every feather is different. So you can make 3 or 4 wraps and then tie it off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chop the tops and the sides of the feather, and we just want the fibers on the bottom to emulate the legs. Just kind of look at it and judge for yourself. Kind of it helps you cut all that out. It'll expose that body to the fish as well, so that they'll get a really good look at it. So we're just going to grab a couple pieces of peacock herl. And we'll just tie these in right behind the bead. You should have some space in there. So when you have those tied in, you want to be careful because it's worked with peacock before. It's pretty frail. So you want to kind of take and twist them a little bit, and then just take and run your fingers down the opposite direction of the herl, and that will really get the fibers standing up for you. See? Then we can just take and make a couple of wraps. Behind the bead. Get right in behind that bead and lock that peacock herl down. And you can get in there and get behind that bead and make some half hitches or whip finish, whatever you like to do. Gets a little, there we go, tight in there. And then cut it off and is the Junkyard Dog. Really super simple. You can crank these out, you know, and really build up a half dozen or dozen of them in different sizes. Again, tan and green are the best colors for fishing here, but you have to kind of investigate your waters where you're fishing. So that is it. So give it a try, tie up a few, and get out there and do some fishing. Appreciate you watching.